Hi, it's time for Mid-South Viewpoint. I'm Byron Tyler. Glad you could stop by today. We have a special guest from the Orpheum. Christina Torres is here. Christina, so good to see you. How are you doing?
Doing great. Thank you so much for having us.
And as we're producing this portion of our Mid-South Viewpoint program, you actually weathered the storm. It's raining kind of heavy from downtown out here east.
Yes, I was actually a little bit surprised because the rain in downtown is gone. So when I hit Midtown and East Memphis, I was like, where is this coming from?
So it kind of followed you then.
Right. It followed me in. But safe drive.
Hey,
overall.
I'm so glad. I got a press release from you recently, and there's some exciting things happening with the Orpheum, and I just thought our listeners would like to hear about it, and we could talk about it. But first of all, how long have you been with the Orpheum?
I've been with the Orpheum for 3 years. I actually started doing special projects with a laundry list of things that the Orpheum wanted to accomplish, but didn't really satisfy any straight job description or one department. And then from there, I grew into the marketing department, which was what my professional goals were. So I've been very blessed there.
And you've been doing a fantastic job keeping us all informed in the media about what's happening at the Orpheum. And there's always, truly, if you haven't participated in the productions at the Orpheum, you're really missing out. You guys really bring it when you bring some of the great entertainment from Broadway. Not just Broadway. There's the productions, the shows that come there. Even the little summer movie night you do on Friday nights is just fabulous.
Thank you. We're very proud of it.
So when did your interest, first of all, for the arts, I know, because you have a love for the arts anyway.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Actually, when I was a little girl, I wanted to be an animator. I'm really glad I didn't pursue that. I found out it took 24 drawings to equal 1 second of film, and I quickly moved along. But actually, I was really shy growing up, and I was always a very studious little girl. So with that, I decided that I would enroll myself in theater to help overcome my shyness because I knew that I would do whatever it took to get that A, even if it meant getting up in front of a crowd and talking. And I fell in love with theater, absolutely fell in love with it. And it gave me so much confidence. It taught me teamwork. I learned how to work on my own. You have to come to rehearsals prepared, but at the same time, you have to trust that the actors are doing their part too. You have to trust that the people backstage are doing their part. So there's so many transferable skills that you could get from that. And I was really able to blossom through that. And then I went to college and became a theater major. I actually started in biology. I wanted to be a zoologist, and I was better at acting like a scientist than being a scientist. My labs were disasters. And so I went full force into theater. And from there, when I left college, I rolled into the admissions department. So I did college admissions counseling, and I used a lot of my theater training because I had to talk with families. I had to be, I guess you could say, on and off when it came to speaking at college fairs and different things like that. All of that harkened back to my theater training, and I was really missing being in a creative field. So I went to graduate school, Savannah College of Art and Design, and got my degree in arts administration. So that way I kind of satisfied the business side of my mind with the creative need that I had, and here I am. So it all worked out.
What a great story. I tell you, what I like about your story is facing your fears. Because we all have certain things, we kind of avoid, we stay away from. And oftentimes we'll go through life avoiding those things that we fear the most.
Exactly.
But if we'll take the time and see how can we, learn and engage that fear, and it becomes usually no more fear like for yourself. You have the confidence and the ability to perform and be on this radio show today.
Exactly. And even now, internally, I still have some of that shyness, but it's so much easier to overcome now that I've had that theater training because I know how to control it. And there have been times when I don't have it at all, but for some of you who may have been to the Orpheum, you might have seen me had to do a curtain speech in front of 2,400 people, and that would be nerve-wracking for anybody. But whereas it would have been paralyzing to me before, now I can do it and nobody thinks any different. People are usually shocked when they find out that I'm shy.
I can't believe it either. I didn't know that because, when it comes to being on a microphone, this is no problem for me right here in the studio. Mm-hmm. Now, if I got in front of 2,500 people, I'm not as productive in that category.
There's a lot of faces.
There's a lot of faces because all those faces are looking back at you, And right here, I've got my own little private room and I've learned to do that. But even at this, it's taken, and I've been in broadcasting now for almost 40 years now, and looking back over the years, this really is a kind of a weakness for me and a fear for me. So I've overcome it by just engaging in it, and I've been doing it for a long time.
Right. It's amazing what you can overcome when you just try, and the amount of personal satisfaction that you get from trying something that's outside of your comfort zone. You suddenly feel so fulfilled. You feel empowered just giving it a shot. And if you're successful in any measure, you can say, oh, I've made this milestone, or I've overcome that fear, just kind of along the lines of what you were saying.
Yeah, and what a sense of accomplishment and even satisfaction too, personally, yeah. Well, as I mentioned, there's some exciting things happening at the Orpheum, even not on the stage at the Orpheum. Of course, there's always something exciting happening on stage, but off stage and really next door.
Exactly.
A new presentation we want to talk about today.
Yes, we are finally opening our Halloran Center for Performing Arts and Education. This building began as a very small dream of needing to expand our classroom space. Some people don't realize that we have 19 education programs at the Orpheum that span everything from Broadway 101, which is one-on-one time with actors from the Broadway shows, all the way to summer camps and even into classroom training about arts administration and different things like that. So the Orpheum, especially if you've been there, it's a historic Orpheum. It's over 85 years old. And when it was built in the 1920s, it wasn't built at a time when education programs were a part of the arts. And so we don't have classroom space in the historic Orpheum, and we were having to use whatever was available when we didn't have shows. And so it started out as wanting some extra classroom space, and now it's this beautiful 39,000 square foot, 2-story building with classroom space, a dance studio, rehearsal hall, a small theater, just everything that we could need to be able to grow our education programs.
See, I had no idea about these educational programs. Mm-hmm. And when you talk about, too, as you mentioned, the historic value in the Orpheum, I mean, back, what year?
1928.
1928. And so much has happened. I mean, we're talking about fire, bankruptcy. I mean, they were talking about at one time leveling that as and creating a whole new,
Exactly. There was talks about a parking lot or just some municipal area that would be business space. But yes, the Orpheum almost wasn't.
What would downtown Memphis be without the Orpheum?
It's really interesting to think about. And, we have the second edition of our history book coming out later this year. And one of the things that we talk about is that very thing. The Memphis Development Foundation runs the Orpheum. So most people don't know that we are a nonprofit organization. And the Memphis Development Foundation's goal was to be a catalyst for economic improvement in the downtown area, because around that time, there was very little. Beale Street was not what it is today. Even South Main was not what it is today. And so the visionaries from that time, they saw the Orpheum as an opportunity and that the arts bring people together. And if we could start there, then the businesses would follow.
Well, when you talk about, Christina, revitalization, especially in downtown, really, as you mentioned there, the Orpheum really has been kind of the mainstay and the flagship and kind of the forerunner in seeing the changes in Memphis. As you mentioned, Beale Street, as we look at, South Memphis, who doesn't now get the chance to go on Saturdays to the farmers market behind the train station and all those new shops, that are there at the South Main, Of course, you got the National Civil Rights Museum. And now with the Bass Pro Shop and that other area, the Pinch District, revitalization, new life being breathed, the visible college, there.
Yes.
So much is happening, So it's kind of neat to see how the Orpheum really had a special part in all this.
Exactly. And, there were others, too. Of course, we can't take all the credit. The Peabody has been a mainstay for so long, Jack Bells and the Bells family. And then, of course, the Orpheum was a Malco for a while, so that helped keep things going before we took over.
I forgot about that.
Yes, for 35 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it that really long?
It was a very long time. And I think that's also part of the reason that we continue with the summer movie series is because people still remember seeing films at the Orpheum, and we love being able to carry on that tradition.
What impact do you hope that the Halloran Center will have on the arts, in particular here in Memphis?
Well, one of our goals, actually, currently we serve about 60 to 70,000 students, families, and teachers annually. within the next 5 years, we hope that the center is going to allow us to increase that to over 100,000. And so this is everything from bringing students in for our student matinee series. You know, we bus students in and they get to see shows like, for the little ones, things like Cat in the Hat. But we also are going to be able to expand and possibly bring in things for older children as well, such as Nearly Lear. That's something that's coming this year. We're also adding a music series, so we're going to be able to do some more intimate concerts than we would normally be able to do. The Orpheum is, of course, about 2,400 seats, whereas the theater in the Halloran Center is only going to be about 360.
My.
And so that allows us to open up a whole new world. But in addition to that, the classroom space is going to be incredible. Another one of the things that we offer as part of our education programs is teacher development. And so what we do is we work with arts integration techniques. So we teach teachers how to take the arts into the schools and use that as a way to make other subjects more engaging and more fun, whether it's math or social studies or even, you know, of course, the literary arts and those types of things, geography, even physical activity. And, of course, right now, our family series and our student matinee series of shows all relate to other subjects besides just the arts. But these teacher professional development trainings that we're going to be able to expand is just going to help further that into the schools. We're also a member very recently of the Kennedy Center's Teaching Arts program. The Orpheum and Shelby County schools have partnered, and we are bringing Kennedy Center teaching artists into the schools. We actually had a teaching artist going around yesterday with our education program. So we're putting more people into the schools, but we're also bringing more kids out of the schools, giving them a new creative environment to enjoy.
And just think about the dreams that you can start in the hearts and minds of these young people, you know, who walk into a place like the Orpheum, you know, Halloran Center for the very first time, and just the spark of life, the ideas of what could potentially be there in the future, you know?
Oh, yes. We have reveled in the faces that we see coming into the Orpheum, especially when you see a child who's coming in for the very first time. We have pictures of students pointing at the ceiling and just with their jaws open, so excited to be in this place. And what's great about, we have the historic Orpheum, but juxtaposed to that is a very modern Halloran Center. So everything is state of the art. One of the things that we're going to get to do that we've never been able to do before is teach the more technical side of theater. We have a audio video lab that students are going to be able to use, and we've also partnered with Meyer Sound. We have a Constellation sound system in the new building, and that sound system allows us to adjust acoustics for the type of event, not just for the space. So it's very cutting edge. And with that partnership, some of those sound engineers are going to periodically come to the Orpheum, and our students are going to have access to those sound engineers as well. So we're really excited about what all that we can do in the new space.
I might want to slip in one of those classes. That sounds
Right?
exciting. And really, speaking of that, I mean, is the center mainly tailored for a younger school-age audience, or are there opportunities for old folks like me?
There are going to be opportunities for adults, and that's something else that we haven't been able to offer before. Now, a lot of the adult programs are in the early stages of planning just because it hasn't been a mainstay in our programming lineup over the past few years, but that's where we're headed for sure, and we definitely want to expand it in a lot of different ways to college students as well. Currently, one of our, oldest programs that we do is the High School Musical Theater Awards, and so we honor students all across the region. We pull schools to that program from Arkansas, Tennessee, and Mississippi.
That's a big event, too.
Yes, it is a huge event, and it's part of a national program. And so right now, that are summer camps, and we do have an internal internship program where we pull students who have been involved in some of our programs. That's about as old as some of our programs go currently, and now we're looking towards expanding that to college and adult students.
Okay. How do you hope Memphians and really surrounding area will embrace the Halloran Center, and maybe those specifically who don't regularly engage the Orpheum?
Oh, yes. Well, one of the great things about the center is it is a very different aesthetic than the Orpheum. So it beckons a different feel altogether. And one of the great things that we have going on with the center is that we are now the new home of the Southern Circuit for Independent Filmmakers. And so that starts actually today. We have our very first film called I Will Dance. It's about students who are from Selma, Alabama, and they're using the art of dance to make it to New York and to have an experience that's going to change changed their lives. So it's a documentary. The filmmaker's going to be there. So this is a national tour of films that are now going to be hosted at the Halloran Center.
So this is an ongoing thing.
Yes. So this particular series, I believe, has 6 films throughout the year, and then not just this fall, but into the next year. And then we'll continue to be the home for that series, which we're very excited about. So that's very different than what we can normally offer. So, for example, if you've been to our summer film series, you know that we're offering things like Gone with the Wind and Clueless and, very pop culture, whereas this is going to give us an opportunity to bring in another level of culture to the Orpheum and to our family of venues, which is now the Orpheum and the Halloran
And plus,
Center.
you're providing participants the opportunity to engage these filmmakers too, and to get into their heads and find out how they did these projects, and again, helping to inspire, possibly new movie producers,
Right, exactly. I mean, personally, I'm very, very passionate about filmmaking in Memphis, and I love the way that Memphis embraces film and embraces its own filmmakers. And so I know that one of my personal hopes is that, we can rent our space out to budding filmmakers who want to do a screening. We have all these spaces available for rent, which makes the possibilities endless as to what we can provide.
Yeah. When you mentioned school-age children, you also, of course, mentioned the Shelby County schools a moment ago. How far outside of the county, Shelby County, over in Arkansas, would you bring school groups in?
Oh, sure. We bring school groups in we have a grant program. So any teachers listening, just check out our website for that. But teachers can actually apply for free and discounted tickets so they can afford to bring their kids to these schools. So we give thousands and thousands of dollars worth of tickets to these schools so they can bus in their kids and give them that opportunity to learn on a different level. Last year we had Schoolhouse Rock, which is so easily understood to where it can be a little bit more than the arts. We talked about Conjunction Junction and we talked about the Bill of Rights. I'm just a bill. So we have programming like that, and then we have programming where the kids might not know as easily that they're learning something, but we also provide for a lot of shows, and even some of the Broadway shows. Again, our website has them when they're available, but many shows offer study guides that teachers can download free of charge and use that to prepare their students for a show.
The main reason we stopped by today is to talk about Saturday, the big event, the kind of a sneak preview to the official start of the Halloran Center.
Exactly. We are really excited to invite the entire community to the Halloran Center Open House this Saturday, the 12th, and it's going to be from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's a come-and-go event. There's no charge to come. We're going to have fun activities all day long, so we really hope that you'll join us. We have everything from performances from other local performing arts groups, Opera Memphis, Theater Memphis Show Wagon. The Hattie Lou Theater is going to be there as well, so lots of different local performers in addition to food trucks.
Now, will this be simultaneously going on, or at different times of the day you'll be able to get these different, performances, or how that work?
There's going to be a little bit of overlap with some of the events. For example, we may have a dance class that's going on at the same time as a performance in another part of the building. But we have schedules on our website too, so you can see what you're interested in. So, for example, we won't have Opera Memphis playing all day, but they'll have a slot during the day that they'll get to perform. So, if you're interested in any one group, the schedule's on our website, and you can look it up, make your plans that way. But these dance classes are free. They're abbreviated.
I saw you have free abbreviated dance classes, Christina. I have no rhythm. I have no, I don't think, ability to dance. My wife says I don't, at least. So I don't know. Could you guys help me maybe?
Yes, we can help you. Yes. We even have a beautiful new dance studio to help you out with as well. So that'll give you a chance to experience that and some of the instructors that we have connections with as well. We'll also have food trucks outside all day long. So you don't even have to leave the building if you don't want to. And
you got crafts for the kids?
We got crafts for the kids, and or craft studio is what we're calling it. And so it's going to be a full day.
And tell me about Memphis Fit Kids, and how does that connect here on that day?
From my understanding, because I don't think that we have, I haven't worked with them before. I think our education has, but it's a University of Memphis program about staying healthy.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we will also have self-guided tours, but we have a little fun thing going on. When you come in, you can get a passport. And so it'll show you where to go throughout the building. We'll have our great Star Council, which are our local students in the area. The Star Council is going to be stationed around the building to tell you all about those particular rooms. They'll give you a stamp on your passport. And if you get all your stamps, then you'll get a special giveaway from our education department. So great activity for the family, kind of a scavenger hunt of sorts, if you will, and a great way to kind of pace yourself instead of being led with a tour guide.
I know one of the special parts of going down to the Orpheum are meeting the volunteers, because you have a great amount of people, I call them our senior saints of Memphis, who've done their time, and they love the Orpheum. They want to come and volunteer their time and help people find their seats and, know where the restrooms are, all those good things you got to have during a production. But are volunteers going to be a part of the Halloran Center?
Yes. Now, our traditional volunteer group is called Friends of the Orpheum. So photo is what that comes out to be. So we call them our photo volunteers. And most people don't realize that the ushers that take them to their seats are volunteers. And so we really appreciate them.
And some of these dear people have been doing this years. I mean,
yes.
And they're so sweet,
Mm-hmm, exactly. And they're always committed to you having a good time, too, which we really appreciate and we thank them for. Now, with the Halloran Center, what we're doing is we are trying to get a very core group of volunteers, both out of our photo group and also from our students. So the Star Council is made up of local students, and so they'll be helping on a volunteer basis. But then we'll also have a core group of volunteers that are dedicated to this Halloran Center that are coming from our photo members. A lot of those members have dealt with our education program almost exclusively, so they do a lot of seating during our student matinees, for example, and they help out during our family series programs as well. So they're very ingrained into the education arm of what the Orpheum does, and so we're going to help transition that into a role at the Halloran Center as well.
Well, as that need increases and new volunteers are needed, if somebody listening wanted to participate, should they just call the Orpheum or?
On our website, which is orpheum-memphis.com, there's a tab called Support Us. And under that tab, there's a volunteer link where you can apply to be a volunteer.
Saturday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. But as you mentioned, it's a come and go type of atmosphere.
Yes, and actually it's 10 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Did I read that
6
wrong?
p.m.
Did I read something wrong?
Well,
I saw a 9 to 9 on my paperwork somewhere. You know what? I see a 10 to 6 right here.
Well, I will say that originally we talked about 9 to 9 because we were reaching out to several arts groups, and we thought some people might need more than one performance slot.
Yeah.
And then as we narrowed it down and got our schedule together, it became a 10 to 6, which also we felt like was going to be more appropriate for families as well, because Saturday is always a busy day anyway.
And there's no need for tickets.
No need for tickets. Just come on by. And if you're not familiar, if you haven't been downtown in a while, the Halloran Center is at 225 South Main, but it's right next door to the Orpheum.
And what about parking? Of course, just find wherever you can park. And there's no special parking was designed with the Halloran Center, I don't believe.
That's correct. Yes, we do have some staff parking, but it's a gated area. And so it was built for staff because we're obviously increasing our staff with the building. But as far as additional parking goes, there's a great MLGW lot that's right adjacent to the Halloran Center. There's also a lot on the other side of the Orpheum, and then behind the Orpheum near Front Street as well. Personally, I always like to park at Parking Can Be Fun because they make parking fun.
Do they really?
I think so. They've got lots of murals and music, and they're usually inexpensive.
Nice. How does the Halloran Center and what we have here in Memphis through the arts and the Orpheum, as you look at other cities, other markets around the country, which I'm sure you do, you're connected, I'm sure, in different organizations, and how do we compare?
Are you with the addition of the Halloran Center or just in general?
With the addition of the Halloran Center.
Okay. Well, some theaters are like us and they have more than one venue. And we've actually been talking a lot to other theaters that have more than one venue because, of course, we've had to talk about how do we talk about the Halloran Center and not separate it from the Orpheum or make it sound like it's so ingrained with the Orpheum that it's the same building. And so, yes, we're the state of the technology is state of the art, and we're definitely on par and above where other cities are. In terms of capacity, it really depends because the cities are, of course, of different sizes. We're considered a mid-sized market among our Broadway counterparts. And so some people have more facilities because they have more populace to take care of, to serve. But in terms of if you're looking at ratio, if you're looking at it comparatively, then we're right on par with theaters across the nation and rival most performing arts centers.
Yeah, I think so. We've got something really to be proud of here, and you need to participate. Now, there was something else I saw, I know it was press-related, regarding family activities at the Orpheum. We talked about, of course, the Halloran Center here and the big event on Saturday, but just ongoing, is it the family, I don't want to say family festival.
Oh, we have a family series of shows.
That's what that's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
And the great thing is the Halloran Center is allowing us to double that programming. And so whereas we've normally had 5 or 6 shows, we have 10 this year, which we're really excited about. And about half of those are going to be in the Halloran Center, just because the Halloran Center, and then also the other half will be in the Orpheum because of the capacity that the Orpheum can hold. But one of the great things about all of our family series shows is we always do pre-show activities for the kids and families. So we always encourage you to come early because we always have something fun. We've had everything from an instrument petting zoo for black violin, and we've also done murals with kids and coloring activities. We've had community partners come. Children's Museum of Memphis has been a partner in the past, for an example. So we always have fun stuff to do before the show. And then, of course, one of the things that the Halloran Center is allowing us to do, which we're super excited about, is a couple of our shows, not all of them, but a couple of them are going to offer a sensory-friendly performance, which allows us to be more sensitive to children with conditions such as autism. So things like the lighting is appropriate for that. The sound is mixed a certain way. And so we created an environment that's relaxing and comforting to students with those types of sensitivities. So that's something that's really, we're seeing taken off in a lot of different areas of the country. We really wanted to be a part of it because, of course, that's a need here in Memphis as well.
Oh, yeah.
So a couple of our shows are going to be offering sensory-friendly performances for those needs.
And Christina, what do you like most about working at the Orpheum and the Halloran Center and being part of all this exciting thing?
Well, I love being a part of the arts and being in a creative opportunity like this because it definitely fuels my fire and it gets me excited to see other people enjoying entertainment. But at the same time, I love what we do. I love seeing the faces. I love the challenges. I love that we're always bringing something new to the table, things that either people have never seen before or sometimes even we have never seen before, especially with the Broadway shows, bringing things right off of Broadway and trying to figure out, where does this fit with Memphis? And the same thing with the education programs. What does Memphis need and how can we fill that need?
Okay, Christina, this has been so exciting to have you here. I'll tell you what, I actually got more than what I was expecting today. I mean, you just told me so much about the Orpheum, the Halloran Center, and that's what makes coming this Saturday so much fun for the free event from 10 till 6. And if you want more information, of course, you can go to the website, which is Orpheum Memphis.
Orpheum-Memphis.com.
Oh, that's right, Orpheum-Memphis.com. Com.
Yep.
Want to make sure I got the com right.
Right.
Orpheum-Memphis.com. But make sure you stop on the website to get information about all of the shows that are coming up this new season starting. And, of course, we want you to come to the Halloran Center just to enjoy, bring the family, have the fun and the activities, get that little abbreviated dance class, I probably
Right.
won't do that, but
You can always give it a shot. You're more than welcome.
I appreciate that. Well, this has been fun, and thanks for stopping by and sharing so much. And if folks wanted to know more about the Orpheum or maybe have you come speak to their group, could you do that, and how could they contact you?
Oh, sure. Our administrative line is 525-7800. Just let our administrator know what you're after, and they'll get you to the right staff member.
Fantastic. Christina Torres, our guest today on Mid-South Viewpoint. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Friends, that's all the time we have on this edition of Mid-South Viewpoint. I'm Byron Tyler. Hey, we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.